My fiancé said, "I'm not introducing you to my wealthy friends. You're too embarrassing." I replied, "Understood." Then I showed up to her elite country club as the owner's son when she saw me shaking hands with her friends. Welcome to Factology. It would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel and like the video. Now, without further ado, let's go. I, 32 male, need to get this off my chest while it's still fresh. My now ex-fiancée, Victoria, 29, just learned a very expensive lesson about assumptions and classism. We've been together 3 years, engaged for 6 months. I work as a diesel mechanic. Good, honest work that pays well, but apparently not prestigious enough for Vic's taste. She works in pharmaceutical sales, makes decent money, and recently got accepted into this exclusive country club through her boss's sponsorship. $50K initiation fee, $1,200 monthly dues. The works. The problem started about 2 months ago when she got in. Suddenly, every weekend was about the club, tennis with the girls, charity lunch-ons, wine tastings. Fine by me. I'm not much for that scene anyway. I prefer working on my '67 Camaro restoration or fishing. Then came the conversation that changed everything. Last Tuesday, she's getting ready for some gala at the club. "Victoria, so I'll be back around 11. Don't wait up. Another solo event. When do I get to meet these new friends of yours?" She stops applying her makeup, gives me this look. "Daniel, we need to talk about that." "About what?" "Look, these people, they're different. They're refined. They discuss investments in art collections, not carburetors and fishing spots. So you'd be uncomfortable." And frankly, she pauses, choosing her words. "You'd embarrass me. The way you talk, your job, your hobbies, you're too blue-collar for that environment." I just stared at her. 3 years together living in my house. Yes, mine inherited from my grandmother paid off. Wearing the ring I bought, and I'm too embarrassing. Understood. Don't be like that. I'm trying to protect you from feeling out of place. No, really. I understand perfectly. She left for her gala. I made a phone call I'd been avoiding for 2 years. See, here's what Victoria didn't know. That country club she's so proud of joining. My father built it from scratch, started as a 9-hole golf course in 1987 and expanded it into what it is today. When he died 5 years ago, he left it to me and my sister Eleanor. I never mentioned it because honestly, I wanted nothing to do with it. Dad and I had a complicated relationship. He thought I was wasting my life being a mechanic instead of wearing a suit. We barely spoke his last 10 years. Eleanor runs the business side. I'm a silent partner who just signs papers once a year and collects dividend checks. I mostly donate to the local technical college. But after Victoria's little speech, I called Eleanor. "Me, Ellie, I need to visit the club Saturday." "You're joking. You haven't set foot there since Dad's funeral." "Yeah, well, things change. There's a charity auction Saturday, right? The Children's Hospital fundraiser." "Why?" "Wait, is this about that woman you're seeing, the one who just joined?" Ella handles all the membership approvals. She knew exactly who Victoria was. I need to make an appearance as myself. "Oh, this is going to be good. Want me to make sure the staff knows you're coming?" "Me? Absolutely. Full treatment. Update 1. Saturday arrived." Victoria left early to help set up for the auction. I waited until the event was in full swing, then drove over in my truck, the same '03 F-250 she always complained about me parking in the driveway. Walking through those doors felt surreal. The staff immediately recognized me. Eleanor did her job. The valet practically sprinted to take my keys. The general manager, Harrison, who'd worked for my dad for 20 years, nearly broke his professional composure. "Harrison, Mr. Fitzgerald, what an unexpected pleasure. Your sister mentioned you might attend me." "Harrison, good to see you. The place looks great. Shall I escort you to the Lafayette Ballroom?" "I know the way, but thank you." The ballroom was packed, about 200 people in their finest. I spotted Victoria immediately holding court near the bar with a group of women laughing at something. I recognized her boss, Carol, and some board member's wife she'd mentioned. But before I could approach them, a voice boomed across the room. "Danny Fitzgerald, is that really you?" Douglas Whitmore, Dad's best friend, current board president, and the closest thing I had to an uncle. He rushed over, grabbed me in a bear hug that probably scandalized half the room. "Doug, Eleanor said you might show about damn time." "Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Fitzgerald is here." The room's attention shifted. Whispers started immediately. "The Fitzgerald name carries weight here. Doug dragged me around, reintroducing me to people I hadn't seen in years. Board members, legacy families, people who remembered me as a kid running around the golf course. Every introduction was, "Bob, you remember Tom's son, Daniel? He owns the place now." Then I saw Victoria's face. She'd gone completely white, her champagne glass frozen halfway to her lips. Carol was saying something to her, but Vic wasn't responding, just staring. I made my way over, Doug still beside me. Me, "Carol, good to see you again." "Daniel, I had no idea you were Pom." "Wait, you two know each other?" Victoria found her voice. This is my fiancé." The silence was deafening. Carol's eyes went wide. The other women looked between us, computing. Doug, God bless him, made it worse. "Danny, you didn't mention you were engaged. And to one of our new members, Victoria, you're a lucky woman. The Fitzgeralds basically built this place." "Victoria, I need some air." She practically ran to the terrace. I didn't follow. Instead, I enjoyed the auction, bid $20K on a week in Aspen for the hospital, not the trip, and had actual conversations with people she deemed too refined for me. Funny thing, they were fascinated by my work. One guy collects classic cars and peppered me with questions about restoration. Another wanted advice on buying a boat. Turns out rich people have hobbies too. Victoria texted me furiously throughout. "We need to talk now." "This isn't funny. You lied to me." "Daniel, please stop ignoring me." I didn't respond. I was too busy having a conversation with her boss, Carol, about how Victoria had described me as working in transportation and how she'd been angling for introductions to the important families. "Carol, she said you were uncomfortable in social situations." "Did she know Daniel?" I'm mortified. If I'd known she was treating Tom's son like that, not your fault. People show you who they are eventually. Update 2. I left the auction around 10 p.m. Victoria's car was gone, but she was waiting at my house, pacing the living room. "Victoria, 3 years. You hid this for 3 years. I didn't hide anything. You never asked. You deliberately made me think you were just some mechanic." "I am a mechanic. I fix diesel engines. That's my job." "You own a country club." "Me? I inherited a quarter of a country club. Eleanor owns another quarter and the trust owns the rest. I don't run it. I don't work there. I barely acknowledge it exists." "Victoria, do you have any idea how humiliated I am? I've been telling everyone my fiancé couldn't possibly fit in, and you're literally their landlord." "You're humiliated? You told me I was too embarrassing to be seen with. You said I'd embarrass you. That was before I knew." And that's the problem, Vic. She tried everything. Tears, apologies, accusations. Claimed I tested her and she failed. That it wasn't fair. That I should have told her. Maybe she had a point about the testing, but I didn't set out to test anyone. I just wanted to be loved for who I am, not what I inherited. Me? You know what the real kicker is? If you just introduced me as your mechanic fiancé, nobody would have cared. Doug knew what I did for a living. Harrison knew. They respect honest work. The only person who thought I was embarrassing was you. Victoria, I was trying to protect us both. No, you were trying to protect your image. There's a difference. She moved to the couch, trying a different approach. Soft voice, batting eyes, the works. "We can get past this. We're still getting married in 4 months. This doesn't change anything." "You're right. It doesn't change anything. You showed me exactly who you are. I just showed you who I am, and we're not getting married. You can't be serious over one conversation, over you fundamentally not respecting me or what I do. Take off the ring, Vic." That's when she lost it. Full meltdown. Screaming about the deposits we'd lose. How her parents already bought their plane tickets. How I was ruining her life over nothing. Me. "I'll cover the deposits. Your parents can use the tickets for a vacation, and you ruined your own life when you decided I wasn't good enough for your new friends. Victoria, I'm not giving the ring back. It's mine. Me? Keep it. Consider it severance for 3 years of pretending to be someone you're not." She threw the ring at me anyway and stormed out. I heard her car peel out of the driveway. Sunday morning, woke up to 27 missed calls from Victoria, 12 from her mother, Patricia, and about 50 texts ranging from "I'm sorry" to "You're a monster" to "We can work this out." But the best part, Carol called me directly. "Carol, Daniel, I need you to know, Victoria won't be returning to our company." That seems harsh. This is personal, not professional. She's been named dropping her connections at the club to clients, promising introductions she couldn't deliver. Now I know why she was using perceived social status. She didn't actually have to close deals. That's fraud in my book. Karma's funny like that. Update 3. The entitlement escalation was something else. Monday morning, Victoria's mom, Patricia, showed up at my work at the diesel shop in her white Mercedes, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. We needed to discuss the situation like adults. I'm working. Patricia, Victoria is devastated. She's had to move back home. Do you have any idea what you've done to her reputation? What I've done? That's rich. She made one tiny mistake. Me? She told me I was too embarrassing to meet her friends because she didn't know who you were. Any woman would want to show off a man with your assets. And there it was. The real issue, not that Victoria had been cruel, but that she'd been cruel to someone with money. So, it would have been fine if I was actually just a mechanic. Don't twist my words. Victoria deserves a lifestyle befitting her ambitions. Me? Then she should earn it herself. I'm not a lottery ticket. Patricia actually tried to negotiate like this was a business deal. Offered to have Victoria sign a prenup. Promised she'd learn to appreciate me. Even suggested couples counseling. Me, Patricia, she's not getting back in. Please leave before I have you escorted out. She huffed but left. Then the real games began. Tuesday, I get a call from Eleanor. Eleanor, you're not going to believe this. Victoria tried to use her membership to book the grand ballroom. For what, Eleanor? Her wedding to you. She told the events coordinator you'd reconciled and wanted to move the venue here as a romantic gesture. Cancel it. Already done. But Danny, I also had to revoke her membership. Why? She charged $8,000 worth of champagne and food to the member account over the weekend, claiming it was for a Fitzgerald family event. When accounting called to verify, she said you'd authorized it. The audacity was breathtaking. She was literally trying to spend money she assumed I had. Wednesday brought a new player. Victoria's ex-boyfriend Trevor reached out via LinkedIn of all places. Bro, heard about you and Vic. Same thing happened to me 2 years ago. She found out my dad owned commercial real estate and suddenly wanted to get back together. When I said no, she tried to say she was pregnant. Watch yourself. That was concerning enough that I screenshot everything and sent it to my lawyer buddy just in case. Thursday was the peak. Victoria showed up at the country club during the ladies' tennis tournament. Eleanor called me immediately. Eleanor, security has her at the gate. She's telling everyone she's still your fiancé and demanding entry. Let me handle this. I drove over, found Victoria arguing with the security guard, tears streaming down her face, making a scene in front of arriving members. Daniel, thank God. Tell them who I am? Me? I know exactly who you are. You're a former member who's no longer welcome on the property. You can't do this. I have friends here. Then they can meet you somewhere else. This is illegal. I paid my dues. Eleanor had walked up behind me. Actually, your membership was sponsored by Carol Hendricks through her corporate account. Since you no longer work there and you've committed fraud against the club, your membership is terminated. You'll receive a full refund of your personal contribution, which was $0. The gathering crowd was whispering. Some were recording on their phones. Victoria's carefully crafted image was crumbling in real time. Victoria getting desperate. I'll sue. This is discrimination. Me? On what grounds? Victoria, emotional distress, breach of promise. You proposed to me, and you told me I was too embarrassing to be seen with. That offer was rescinded the moment you showed your true character. She tried one last manipulation. I'm pregnant. The crowd gasped. I just laughed. Me? No, you're not. Victoria. How would you know? Because we haven't been intimate in 2 months. You've been too busy with your club activities. Plus, your ex Trevor warned me you'd try this move. Her face went from fake tears to pure rage. Victoria, you're all witnessing this abuse. He's humiliating me publicly. Doug Whitmore stepped forward. Ma'am, you're trespassing on private property. If you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to call the police. That did it. She stormed off to her car, but not before screaming. You'll regret this, Daniel. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. Final update. It's been 3 weeks since the country club confrontation. The aftermath was swift and brutal for Victoria. Turns out her little scene was recorded by multiple people. Someone posted it on TikTok with the caption, "Gold digger finds out her mechanic fiancé owns the country club she tried to exclude him from." It went semi-viral locally. 2.3 million views last I checked. Victoria tried damage control. posted this long Instagram story about how she was manipulated and gaslit by a man pretending to be someone he wasn't. Problem was, nobody bought it. The comments were brutal. "Girl, you literally said he was too embarrassing to meet your friends. So it's his fault you're a snob." Imagine fumbling a bag this hard, her reputation in our mid-sized city's social scene destroyed. Patricia called me one last time, begging me to make it stop. I told her I wasn't doing anything. Victoria's own actions were just having consequences. The professional fallout was worse. Carol, her former boss, apparently sent a warning to others in their industry about Victoria's ethical flexibility. She couldn't get another pharma sales job. Last I heard, she was working at a wellness MLM, posting about boss babe life and rising from adversity. The ring, she tried to pawn it, but found out it was worth way less than she thought. I bought it from a friend who's a jeweler. Beautiful ring, but lab-created diamonds and white gold instead of platinum. Still cost me $3,000. But she was expecting $30,000. Another assumption that bit her. Here's the twist nobody saw coming. Eleanor and I have actually gotten closer through this. We started having dinner once a week, talking about Dad, the club, everything we never discussed before. She convinced me to be more involved with the family legacy, not as an owner, but as an advisor for their new vocational training program. Turns out I can help kids who want to work with their hands get scholarships and apprenticeships. Met someone new at the technical college where I volunteer teaching a diesel maintenance class. Amy's a welding instructor, doesn't give a damn about country clubs, and thinks my truck is badass. When I told her the whole story on our third date, she nearly choked on her beer laughing. "Amy, wait. So she thought you weren't good enough for her rich friends, but you literally owned the building. Me? Quarter-owned. But yeah, that's the most beautiful karma I've ever heard. Please tell me someone got it on video." I showed her the TikTok. She watched it 3 times, wheezing with laughter. The part where she says she's pregnant and you just go, "No, you're not dead. I'm dead." We've been dating 2 months now. She came to the club with me last week for Eleanor's birthday dinner. No pretense, no anxiety about fitting in. She wore jeans and a nice blouse, talked to everyone like normal people, and had Doug Whitmore obsessed with her restored '78 Bronco by the end of the night. Doug pulled me aside. "This one's different, Danny. She looks at you, not what you come with." He's right. Amy doesn't care about the inheritance or the club membership. She cares that I make her laugh, that I fixed her dad's tractor for free, and that I volunteer at the animal shelter on weekends. The actual me, not the bank account. Victoria, meanwhile, tried one final play, sent me a long email about how she's grown from the experience and deserves a second chance. How she's been in therapy, doubt it, and realizes she loved me for me, not what I had. Bigger doubt. Ended with, "I'm willing to forgive you for the deception if you're willing to forgive my mistakes." The entitlement never dies, does it? She's willing to forgive me. I didn't respond, just forwarded it to Eleanor, who laughed so hard she cried. Eleanor, the lion, the witch, and the audacity of this Ellie, what? She called you embarrassing, then tried to steal champagne. I said what I said. Looking back, Victoria did me a favor. If she hadn't shown her true colors over the country club, I might have actually married her. Would have spent my life with someone who saw me as beneath her, only to flip when she found out about the money. That's not love. That's a business transaction. Now I'm with someone who'd date me if I really was just a diesel mechanic living paycheck to paycheck. Because that's who I am at heart. A guy who likes working with his hands, restoring old cars, and fishing on Sunday mornings. The inheritance is just numbers in an account I barely touch. The country club, I still rarely go except for family events or the occasional charity thing. But now when I do show up in my jeans and work boots, members treat me with respect, not because of who my father was, but because they saw what happened when someone didn't. Victoria is still posting about her journey and growth on social media, still trying to portray herself as the victim who's rising above. But everyone knows the truth. She played herself, thought she was trading up to a better social circle only to realize she'd been living with her golden ticket the whole time. As Amy says, karma doesn't always come quickly, but when it does, damn, it's